Yo, what's good, kings and queens? It's your boy Don, and I'm back for another reaction video today. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit all so you know every time I post, you heard. If you're not new to the channel, you already know what to do. Go down below, hit that like button, guess that mystery word. If you get pinned, you win, you heard. You already know the vibes. As y'all can see by the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be reacting to crazy things that actually sold on the dark web. If y'all don't know what the dark web is, it's just the web that's dark. Simply put. Don't go on it. Don't try to do anything or buy anything on it because it's not worth your time, you heard. Other than that, we about to see the craziest things that's bought. Like, you could buy anything almost off the dark web, like animals, freaking, who knows, you heard, bazookas, any types of things that you just don't know. Just think about it and you're like, yo, can I buy this? You can. Don't buy it, you heard. It's not worth it. Other than that, let's get into the video. Let's see what they talking about.
Well, the craziest things sold on the dark web.
Like
First of all,
what?
what is the dark web anyway?
Okay,
the best
he
way
gonna
to
tell
understand the dark web is to think of it as an iceberg. The clear net, the part of the internet that most of us are familiar with, is like the tip of the iceberg sticking out above the water. It's the visible part of the internet that can be accessed through search engines like Google, but it only accounts for about 10% of the whole internet. The deep web is like the rest of the iceberg. It's hidden under the water. It makes up the bulk of the whole internet. The deep web contains over 90% of the information on the internet. People tend to fear what they don't understand, but the majority of the deep web is pretty harmless, and it actually might even be helpful. Back in the 70s, when the internet was just getting started, the terms dark web and deep web weren't ominous. They simply referred to the parts of the internet that weren't connected to the mainstream internet and weren't indexed by search engines. Because it's unindexed, it's incredibly hard to navigate this information without the help of Google. Some deep web search engines like Candle do exist, but without indexing, it's incredibly hard to sort through the massive amount of information on the deep web. So how can the deep web be good? Well, those of us lucky to have unrestricted internet access might take it for granted, but that free access is not a given everywhere in the world. In countries where internet access is restricted, the deep web is essential for connecting people to others within their country and with the outside world. Even those of us with unrestricted internet access might prefer the privacy and anonymity of the deep web. The deep web provides access to secure email servers like Proton Mail. It has mirror social media and news sites like Facebook and the New York Times. The deep web news outlet ProPublica was actually the first online news site to win a coveted Pulitzer Prize. There's a dark web version of Reddit called Hidden Answers, and even places for journalists and whistleblowers to upload documents and sensitive info. All these sites allow people in more restrictive countries to communicate freely within and outside of their country. In fact, communication through the deep web was instrumental in the Arab Spring uprising of 2010. In the age of big data, even those with unrestricted internet access and nothing to hide might prefer not to have their every online move monitored. And the deep web offers a convenient place to browse in privacy and connect with a community of like-minded individuals. A lot of activity on the deep web is pretty mundane. It ranges from the downright boring, like Just Chess, a site where you can just play chess with other users, to the mildly naughty, like pirating movies on Pirate Bay, to the straight up weird, like Kittens, a site exclusively dedicated to cute cat pictures. For some reason, the deep web seems to have a thing for cats. For all those benefits, the deep net definitely has a seedy underbelly. This is the part of the deep web that we call the dark web. It makes up only about 6% of the total internet, and it's home to all sorts of dangerous, illegal, and just plain strange things. Accessing any part of the deep web is far from simple, and you need special browsers and location masking software to access onions or highly specified URLs. Privacy and anonymity are core values of the deep web, and this is especially true in the seedier dark web. Some of the more sketchy dark web sites might even have their own vetting processes, where you might be required to perform a potentially illegal or immoral act to prove that you're a serious customer and not just a nosy researcher or even a law enforcement official. It's important to remember that there's no oversight on the dark web, which means there's nowhere to turn if you're the victim of a scam or a malware attack. There's also the risk that you could become involved in a law enforcement sting. One of the most prolific dark web myths is that you can hire a hitman to take out your enemies, but in reality, all of those hitman for hire sites have turned out to be scams. Either the hitman turns out to be a fake and just pockets your money, or the hitman is actually law enforcement officers in disguise. The dark web is home to countless marketplaces peddling everything from stolen goods to designer knockoffs. Due to pressure from law enforcement and a culture of secrecy, these marketplaces are constantly popping up, moving, and disappearing. The Silk Road was one of the first dark web marketplaces, and it was estimated to have earned more than $1 billion in revenue, mostly from the sale of drugs, before it was shut down by the FBI in 2014. In 2019, the Dream Market, another major player in the dark web drug trade, gave its users 30 days notice that it would be closing, leading many to assume that the site had been taken over by law enforcement and was being run as a honeypot operation. Now that you know the basics of the dark web and you've been duly warned about its dangers and risks, without further ado, let's take a look at some of the craziest things that are sold on the dark web. Cryptocurrency services. Bitcoin is the unofficial currency of the dark web, since dark web users are all about privacy and untraceability.
Intermission you heard, go down below, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. That's how we get rid of these intermissions. If y'all learning something, let me know in the chat, you heard. Like, I feel like I already knew this information, but I feel like he explained it well, so that way, if you didn't know, you could learn, you heard. Let me know down in the chat. Other than that, let's get back, you heard.
Cryptocurrency is the perfect currency for the types of transactions that happen on the dark web, especially the illegal ones. The deep web is full of services for buying, selling, and storing Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. But the dark web takes it a step further. You can find services that will clean or launder your Bitcoin, adding another layer of untraceability to your transaction. There are even illegal Bitcoin lotteries and dark web casinos where you can win real Bitcoin payouts and skip the taxes usually applied to lottery winnings. Fake documents. Probably one of the more tame things you can find on the dark web is a plethora of fake documents. You can get fake IDs, fake birth certificates, and of course, fake passports. There's even a site that purports to sell valid American citizenships. But perhaps the weirdest fake document you can get on the dark web? Fake college degrees. We guess that's one way to pad your resume. Illegal weapons. Weapons, especially guns, are one of the most popular items sold on the dark web. Although guns are easy to get in many countries like America, it's definitely not the case elsewhere in the world. Plus, you may not want your gun registered, so the dark web offers an additional layer of anonymity, and guns are just the beginning. You can buy all kinds of weapons like explosives and even uranium. Illicit drugs. Another mainstay of the dark web is a thriving market for drugs of all kinds. The dark web's drug market has come a long way from just being a sneaky way to buy weed. Now that marijuana is becoming legal in many places, people are turning to the dark web for the heavier stuff. Not only can you find all kinds of street drugs like cocaine and heroin, but there's now a huge market for fake pharmaceuticals. For years, a small operation in the UK was able to use dark web marketplaces to elude law enforcement as they peddled an estimated 1.5 million fake Xanax pills to British customers, creating an addiction crisis in the process. The dark web even has its own brand of discount Viagra called Kamagra, with its own dedicated marketplace. I guess some people are desperate to avoid those embarrassing doctor's visits. Hacked data. We are constantly hearing stories about companies' data being hacked, but we rarely hear about what happens to all that stolen data. Most of it actually ends up for sale on the dark web. For a few dollars, you can get a package of hundreds of credit cards and social security numbers. Most of them will have been canceled or protected by then, but if you're lucky, you might find a few to use in your nefarious endeavors. You can even find services on the dark web that will help you use this new data, like, for example, by helping you get a fake loan under an assumed identity. Hacker tools. For those DIYers out there, dark web is the place to learn how to become a world-class hacker. With step-by-step guides, ready-made malware and viruses, and physical tools like credit card scanners and ATM skimmers, the dark web is a hacker's one-stop shop. Hackers for hire. If you don't consider yourself to be tech-savvy enough to do your own hacking, never fear. You can find hackers for hire on the dark web. Markets like Digital Gangster connect you with legitimate hackers who can help you with everything from retrieving passwords to hacking into another person's computer. While tempting, this seems pretty risky to us after all. Who's to say the hackers won't turn on you? Knockoffs and fake products. No black market would be complete without a thriving trade in designer knockoffs. Of course, you can find that standard fake Rolex and knockoff Chanel purse, but the dark web has much more to offer. You can find sites dedicated to the sale of gold and diamonds, and custom 3D printing is becoming hugely popular. One of the most printed products? Gun parts. Not surprisingly, technology is a huge seller on the dark web. Where else can you get so-called genuine Apple products at deeply discounted prices? That's right, the dark web. Fake accounts. Some of the most popular fakes found on the dark web are fake user accounts for popular services. You can find lifetime Netflix accounts that will never expire, or score free rides using hacked Uber accounts. This is definitely one of the weirdest kind of fakes we found on the dark web, and it had us wondering, why bother? Twitter followers. In the age of social media, everyone is competing for likes, and it can sometimes seem like people will do anything to get more followers. Yet again, the dark web comes to your rescue, and you can actually buy Twitter followers, or more accurately, bots, to inflate your social media
Y'all out there
status.
buying
If
followers, y'all on
nothing
the
you've
dark
heard so
web,
far
you
seems that crazy to you, just wait until you hear about this one. Apparently, you can also buy souls on the dark web. In some countries, it's believed that spirits can be trapped at the moment of death and harnessed to perform powerful rituals. The dark web has brought this trade into the 21st century, making it easier than ever to purchase the soul of a recently departed person, for a hefty sum, of course. And who can forget the dark web mystery boxes? This viral dark web trend was based on a long-standing practice that started on eBay. But unlike the eBay boxes, which contained harmless items like tech gear and clothing, the mystery boxes from the dark web contained random and terrifying objects, like children's clothes, evil objects, and even items with what looked like blood on them. People fear what they don't understand. Most of the deep web is harmless and actually an important tool for free speech, but the dark web is the seedy underbelly of the deep web. And if you can think of it, someone is probably selling it on the dark web, including some illegal, immoral, and just plain crazy things.
Everything.
So what do you think is the craziest thing sold on the dark web?
Yo, if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments what's your favorite part. Y'all let me know what y'all think is sold on here that you could get. You heard? Think about something and let me know down in the chat. Y'all already know. Moral of the story is to stay away from the dark web unless you want dark things. You heard? Simple as that. Just shot a video before this. About to go shoot another one right now. I'm going to see y'all there. You heard? Peace. Love. Done. Oh my God. Shit, that's